Welcome to the deep dive. So we get handed source material, and our job is basically to unpack it, figure out the core insight, no matter how weird or, well, today, utterly surreal it gets.
Yeah, usually it's economic data, historical texts, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But today, it's different. We're exploring some really extreme fictional narrative choices.
Indeed. We received an excerpt from a listener titled Book 50 Shades of Jesus Christ, Satan X Jesus, NACD18gay.pdf. Yeah. So we're looking at this purely as a narrative case study, right? Not theology.
Absolutely not. It's
No.
about how the author at Lector Eric uses this provocative setup, an incestuous homosexual relationship between Jesus and Satan,
Yeah.
to totally flip the script on God and the universe.
It's radical character subversion.
Yeah.
That's the focus.
Right. Our mission is to track how the narrative choices lead to this complete overthrow of the divine hierarchy. It's almost like a blueprint for, I don't know, radical autonomy.
And it jumps right in, establishing the rules of this world. The transgression needs a specific space, and that space is hell.
Yeah, Jesus is immediately shown being afraid God will find out, but not because God is, like, all-seeing in the usual way.
Right. The text actually limits God's perception.
Yeah.
Jesus says, God can't know my thoughts and actions, but he can see the human world and heaven.
Crucially, though.
Not what happens down here in hell. So hell becomes this ultimate blind spot.
Which gives Satan described just as the oldest, the opening he needs, politically, physically, you name it. It allows the corruption to start.
And how Satan starts it is interesting. It's not just one note.
No, it's a mix. You get the sort of traditional dominant moves, the abrasive language to corrupt Jesus, biting his shoulder.
Yeah.
But then there's this strangely specific, almost mundane detail.
The underpants. He tears Jesus's tight underpants.
And Jesus laments he had no more left.
Right. It just yanks this cosmic drama down to a very relatable, almost banal level. It's like the first physical act of destroying his old identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, right after that show of force, the author throws in this moment of real vulnerability. Yeah, that was weird. Satan just stops and says Jesus' erection is small.
And it clearly hits a nerve. It strips away that image of divine confidence. Jesus gets defensive. He's shaking, I don't have a small one.
And then comes the bravado.
Yeah.
Right. Claiming it's perfectly functional and could deliver 100 orgasms in a single night.
Which, the text specifically notes, surprises Satan. It's this flash of modern, almost graphic self-assertion clashing with the ancient power dynamic. It shows Jesus isn't just passively accepting this.
But Satan quickly takes back control, right?
Mm.
Through a kind of ritual submission.
Yeah, seizing his wrists above his head. And then, again, another one of those grounding modern details.
A lubricant. A bottle of silicone-based lube from the nightstand.
It's almost comical. He's about to deflower a divine figure, but he needs, like, everyday supplies to do it. And he actually says it out loud. I'm going to deflower your entry, little angel. The language is so direct. And then the preparation, with 3 fingers described as anal masturbation, leads to Jesus screaming.
Oh, for my 12 apostles.
It's just this perfect collision of the sacred and the profane, right? A religious phrase in that specific moment of violation.
It really sets the stage. Once that boundary's crossed, the narrative just barrels towards the climax and the inevitable intervention.
Yeah, the physical escalation is immediate and, again, incredibly specific. We go straight to penetration.
With Satan's enormous and hot virile member, which the text feels the need to tell us is 14 inches.
Right. That specific hypermasculine detail really hammers home the physical dominance and the threat. It emphasizes the pain Jesus feels screaming. It hurts, and it burns, it burns. That pain is part of the power play.
But there's that weird contradiction here, too. Satan's dialogue is super harsh, controlling. Then shut up, slave. You're my bitch, and I'll do whatever I want with you.
Yeah, classic dominant language. But the narration says his intentions are actually soft.
So what do you make of that? Is the language just for show?
I think it suggests performative, yeah. It's fulfilling the role, the archetype they've fallen into in this relationship rather than, like, genuine malice. The ritual of the words seems more important than the feeling behind them.
Okay. And then mid-act, there's that bizarre, almost domestic pause.
The wet wipes. Satan stops to clean up a bit of blood, which Jesus insists is wine, without even pulling out.
It's darkly funny, but it also underlines how significant this is for Satan. He'd apparently been waiting for years.
Right, and once that's done, the pace just rockets. The F1 car comparison for the thrusts, it's absurd, driving them to the climax.
And Jesus is told to say dirty stuff. That seems to be the final switch, from pain to embracing it.
And the language he uses is so contemporary. A bull on steroids, the member is a huge sausage, and finally, I'm your slave, daddy.
Total submission in words. And that's what triggers the shared orgasm, which is described as.
Looking like a fountain in a shopping mall, just peak absurdity.
And that precise moment, of course, is when the divine authority decides to walk in.
Of course. God arrives, and the text makes a point. He's not used to knock before entering a room. Doors slam against the wall. Maximum drama.
And they're caught right at the peak during the plateau phase,
Yeah.
as the text calls it.
The unstoppable phase before orgasm. You couldn't script more humiliating timing.
And God's first words.
Jesus Christ, Satan, what the fuck are you doing? Just pure shock and rage. Okay, so that sets up the next part perfectly. The confrontation turning into outright rebellion. Exactly. God goes from confused to furious. How could you desecrate your brother's sexuality? He orders Jesus to leave, but then comes the accident.
Ah, yes. The moment that really shifts the power balance, I think.
Completely. God tries to grab Jesus, but Satan moves so fast.
God accidentally grabs Satan's sticky, sweaty penis.
And recoils in total disgust. It just shatters God's divine image instantly. He's reduced to this disgusted father figure, and he reverts to calling Satan Lucifer, like pulling out the full government name in anger.
And that physical repulsion, that moment of weakness from God, that's Jesus' opening.
That's his cue. He refuses. I don't want to go. He declares he's no longer the Messiah you sent to do your dirty work. I don't belong to you.
He stands up, defying the pain, totally rejecting his old role.
And the text makes a point of his fearlessness, noting he lets his small and super skinny member dangle. It's like zero shame. Exposing his vulnerability becomes an act of defiance.
And God, the patriarch figure, described as chunky and gray-haired.
He can't handle it. He raises his arms like he's going to destroy them, but the text says he lacks the courage. He just retreats, threatens them. Don't come near me again or I'll kill you both. But he backs down.
The traditional power structure just crumbles. God is shown as, well, weak in that moment.
And with the old boss gone, Satan steps in to offer a new role, a new identity.
Right. Jesus can be Infernal Prince, or the rather more colorful
Anana Swallower 5000 edition.
Quite the title. And Jesus accepts. He does. And gets a new uniform to match. Black thongs, straps, metal chains. The whole narrative takeaway is that he feels whole and free. He's achieved selfhood by becoming the opposite of what his father demanded. Releasing his lascivious, fierce, and wild gay side. Becoming the unattainable, empowered bitch he always wanted to be, as the text puts it. A total inversion.
So the structure then moves us forward, right, to see the results of this rebellion. 7 years later.
Ruling hell and existential musings. What's life like now?
Well, it's filled with pleasures and vices. They're shown actively torturing souls. There's a specific image of a man tied down with barbed wire.
And Jesus is fully integrated into this. The Savior is now a torturer telling a victim, you were worth a dick to Jesus Christ.
A complete transformation. But what's really fascinating is that amidst all this hedonism and power,
Jesus becomes philosophical.
Right. He becomes an existentialist, starts asking these huge, almost meta questions. What if the universe is a hologram?
And our world an illusion? What if what we live in is the dream of someone who controls the threads of our existence, as in fanfics online?
He's literally questioning if he's in a fanfic. The author is putting that thought right into the character's head.
But Satan's reaction is amazing. He shuts it down.
Totally. He dismisses it all as stupid and elaborated thoughts from current people, blaming globalization and technology. It's like the devil has turned into a grumpy old traditionalist.
He sounds like he's complaining about kids these days, and he specifically can't stand flat earthers.
It's brilliant irony, isn't it? Satan, the ultimate rebel, is now critiquing the irrationality of modern humanity, the very thing he supposedly champions.
It shows they've overthrown God, but they're still sort of stuck in the system he created, maybe?
Yeah.
This intellectual tension seems to push them to the next step.
Exactly. It leads straight into Section 5, the final inversion of power. Jesus, taking that existential spark, proposes the ultimate rebellion.
Let's make our own universe. Be totally independent, like Father. But before they can leave, there's one last visit from the old management.
God shows up in the underworld, wearing only a white nightgown, apparently wanting to make amends.
But he sees Jesus, sees the corruption, hears their plan to basically secede from reality, and he's just repulsed again.
He calls Jesus an unattainable, empowered slut. It's the peak of his despair. And that despair leads directly to his downfall.
His fatal flaw. It's not pride, it's
His low tolerance for alcohol. The text is so specific. He drinks from a demon's tray, gets wasted in 10 minutes flat.
the supreme being, taken down by cheap booze. It's almost slapstick.
It is, and they seize that moment of weakness.
Jesus climbs on Satan's back, uses the wings.
And they blasted a hole in the air, a skilp, to a blank canvas.
And there, they finally achieve that existential goal.
Complete autonomy. They create worlds as they please, as true gods, using colors never seen before. They literally rewrite reality to suit themselves.
And the final image
Is God left behind, captive in hell, prey to drugs and alcohol, a complete reversal. The patriarch dethroned and addicted.
So looking at the whole thing, this source material uses a really taboo relationship as, like, the engine for a total cosmic and political coup. The characters literally rebel their way into creating a better, custom-made universe.
Yeah, the specifics of the religious figures are almost secondary to the theme of narrative control. It's using these incredibly recognizable symbols to explore power, restriction, and the drive for self-definition against a reality you didn't choose.
So thinking about that meta moment where Jesus asks if they're just in a fanfic online, how does this ending, where they do escape and build their own universe, speak to that impulse you find everywhere, that desire to reject the given reality and basically write your own story? What's it saying about wanting to be the author of your own life?
Well, it seems to suggest that maybe true freedom, or at least the ultimate version of it in this narrative, isn't about fixing the system you're in. It's about having the power to hit reset and build something entirely new from scratch, on your own terms.
Leaving the old God passed out in hell. Something to definitely think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.